Hey, I'm Chris Lane.
And I'm Lauren Bushnell.
And we're getting married. We first met roughly 4 years ago, right? At a radio event in Austin, Texas. Lauren invited me to some after party, just as like a, hey, we're going to this, you know, you should go to this, and anybody else that you want to bring kind of thing. We randomly just kept in touch. I mean, just once in a blue moon through that. All those years later, I knew she was newly single. I have this place that I love going to in the Bahamas, and I had a trip planned, and we were inviting some friends, and I just randomly asked her if she wanted to go, and that just so happened to be the trip that we really hit it off on. And when we left that trip, I actually missed her. For whatever reason, I felt like I missed her and wanted to see her again. And I called her, I put in the work. I called her every single day.
For months, he called me every day.
I called her every day. It was no texting, no nothing. I would just call and talk to her.
He posted something on Instagram. It was the most thoughtful, sweetest post that anyone has ever made towards me or about me. And we had been dating for like 2 weeks officially. And it was just so sweet. And
you're talking about on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, on Thanksgiving, it was like, I'm thankful for you. And just like this very heartfelt, sweet post. And I remember kind of being scared at first. But it kind of made me realize like, okay, yes, he's actually, you know, clearly very serious. And it kind of allowed me to fully let my guard down and really trust that he was about to give it everything he had and that I needed to do the same.
There was no surprise when it came to the proposal itself. Like, she knew at some point I was going to ask her to marry me. She just didn't know when. Father's Day weekend, all of her family was going to be in Portland, and I knew I wanted to do it in Portland because it's a special place for her. And why not do it in her parents' backyard? During the midst of all this, I had been trying for months, not to use as a proposal, but I'd been trying for quite some time to write her just a song that I felt good enough about that I could say, hey, I wrote this for you, I want you to have it, kind of thing. And this song kind of came together to where I could do that, and ended up writing the third verse as a proposal and had no plans on actually releasing it. I just wanted to play it for her just because I loved it, and I felt like it was so fitting for our relationship, and she is what inspired the whole thing. The third verse is verbatim. Right now we're back in her hometown and I'm down on one knee.
I guess you finally figured out I'm gonna ask her to marry me.
I played it for her in front of her whole family, made her think that, hey, I just want to play you a song that I wrote for you, and I want you to listen to it.
I think the moment in time where I realized it was more than just him playing me the song was on that third line. I mean, truly, until I heard the words, I'm gonna ask her to marry me, that's really when it kind of all hit me. And you can even see in the video, the change of emotion in my face. At first I was like, oh, this is so sweet. And then all of a sudden, like, just a wave of just emotion, and obviously just pure joy, but I was very emotional and kind of started crying. And that was really the moment when I realized what was all happening. So I actually found Olia Zavozina through our wedding planner, Josiah. She's designed dresses for over a decade now, makes beautiful gowns, and then also does custom pieces. I would describe my dress as simple and elegant, yet one that also makes a statement at the same time. It's all silk, so it's very soft and comfortable. The dress itself, there are no sleeves. It has a thin strap, kind of comes to a V in the front. The back goes relatively low, and then has a really pretty cowl draping and some lace detail that we added on. I never had an idea of what I wanted my dress to look like, but the one thing that I did have my mind set on was having a very extravagant train. My veil is even longer than my train, and it has lace. So the same lace that's on my veil is also on the back of my dress. I know a lot of people do like a dress change. I'm not. I'm so obsessed with my dress, I don't want to change out of it. So we're doing a bustle so that, you know, for the reception, I don't have this long, enormous train dragging around. So it does bustle up in the back. The thing that's really cool is I'm doing some bridal buttons on the back of the dress, not a lot, but a few, and she's actually using one or two of the buttons from my mom's dress on my dress. So that'll be incorporated. I'm very excited that hopefully if I have a daughter or something like that, we can use a part of my dress to make her dress. So hopefully we can keep that kind of tradition now that we've started going. We decided to get married in Nashville. It's our home. We picked a venue called 1410, and it's an indoor venue, but they do have a little outdoor patio and these gigantic garage doors that open to kind of create that indoor-outdoor feel. Very old building that they just kind of refurbished, and it kind of has that modern farmhouse vibe. But we also wanted to find a space that we could do both the ceremony and the reception at, since most of our guests are from out of town. We have about 160-ish guests. I think for both of us, we really wanted the focus to be the actual, you know, the actual ceremony of us getting married. We wanted to maintain the focus on why everyone's kind of gathered in the first place.
We want to keep it simple and not make it too long. You don't want to bore people, and just make it a fun night all the way around.
So we are going to do a little bit of the traditional vows mixed with some of our own vows.
I don't know exactly what I'm going to say, but I feel like the words will come to me, like they kind of do in songwriting.
I feel like thoughts of what I want to say always come to me before I go to bed, similar to when you get song ideas. So I've been making sure that when I do have a feeling or an emotion that I want to incorporate in our vows, I'll roll over and I'll write it down in my phone so I don't forget. Our reception will be in the same area as the ceremony. So it's a very big space, and so everyone will essentially move from the ceremony to a cocktail hour, which is in a different space that's kind of curtained off, so then you can't see what's happening behind on the other side when they're setting up the tables. So everything will still be a surprise.
Yeah, and as far as the music goes, I hired the DJ who's going to do it is one of my favorite songwriters here in Nashville. His name's Jesse Frazier. He wrote one of my very first #1 song, which was Fix. And we have a great relationship, great friendship. And he said, I'll come DJ your wedding as a wedding gift. So our first dance song, after thinking about it a lot, thought maybe why don't we just dance to the song that I wrote for her. It's called Big Big Plans. And maybe not use the full band recording, but create a cool acoustic performance.
I got some big, big plans. Build a little house out on some hand-me-down land.
When we were discussing first dance songs, I mean, I feel like that's like the ultimate song when it comes to when we think of a song that kind of encompasses our relationship. He wrote it, and it was inspired by our relationship, and it has such a special meaning to us, so I don't think we could really dance to anything else.
She don't know I got some big, big plans. She don't know, she don't know.
So we're doing a seated dinner with a plated dessert to the table, and then we're also doing cake.
The cake is going to be a traditional white wedding cake with caramel butter filling, and it was delicious.
again, we don't want anyone leaving this thing hungry. So then late night, you've been dancing and you work up an appetite. So my must was we had to have late night snacks. So we contacted Shake Shack. We both love Shake Shack. So we're gonna have a food truck end of the night. So it's kind of gonna be like the surprise at the end of the night. I'm gonna be Lauren Lane, yes. My personal identity, I've never really thought of that in my last name. I have 2 brothers who can carry on the Bushnell name for me. I'm so happy and honored to take on his name, and I think again it just kind of solidifies that we're one unit now, and even more so than we already are. And I'm excited. Lauren Lane does have a nice ring to it.